For a person who claims to be a Christian or did claim to be a Christian while they were alive, they had a propensity to say a lot of things that were very anti-Christian. For those who know anything about the Muslim faith, they know that Jesus is held in a very high regard. In fact, he's considered one of the 5 prophets of the Quran. And so to push the message that Charlie pushed for many years, I would say was very disturbing.
Yes.
And if you are going to claim to be a Christian, then either you practice the teachings of Jesus or you do not. This isn't selective, there isn't this selective decision making as far as I like this part of the Bible, but I don't like that part of the Bible. I don't like any part of it. I just believe in the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have done to you. And I think it's fair to say that Charlie has done a lot of things over the years that were highly questionable. And if you think that they're not.
Yes. Hateful, violent, swelling. He got a paycheck based on instigating hate and violence. And now people are pearl clutching because it came back home. Like, it's, how dumb are you? How dumb are you? You think somebody can just walk through life just being a complete proponent of oppressing and violence? And the other problem is that a lot of you people that think he was great, you don't understand what real violence is. Violence is more than just somebody physically attacking another person. It's denying them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and oppressing them by standing on their fucking neck. And somebody like Charlie Kirk spent his life pushing people to punch and kick down, right? That's what he did. He played on people's anger and their dissatisfaction and their malcontent, and he got them to hate immigrants and hate Black people and hate queers and hate the other. But you know what? Fuck him. Seriously. And fuck you all for sitting there and acting like, oh my God, violence isn't the answer. Yeah, you should have gone back and told him that, because we could probably find a dozen clips where he's promoting some form of violence or another. So go get fucked over this. That's my thought. And personally, I don't care one way or the other about him being dead.
And one of the things that I also want to point out is that when you think about the worst Zionazis that permeate amongst the ranks within social media, yeah, we're going to get to Laura Loomer shortly, but do not forget about Chaya Raichik. Do not forget about a person who tried to hide her identity, Libs of TikTok, who was discovered basically being, the hall monitoring Karen. Anybody who says anything, I am going to do everything in my power to take away your free speech rights. There are people today who had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's death, but had voiced their support for him no longer being here. Again, either you believe in our constitutional right to free speech and to denigrate somebody who was murdered. Again, I'm not with it and I'm not doing it, but I support their right to do it. And so should you. Or you're just
regarding me? Is this regarding me? Because if it is, that's really cool. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for helping the algorithm.
I think it's very important that people understand why this is happening. And that is the part that I think people are ignoring. If you have a strong feeling about Charlie, Colin, do you not have the tweets that I sent you? Do you need me to send them again?
What tweet are you talking about specifically?
Laura Loomer is one of them. I know I sent you a handful of stuff.
Yeah, I got it right.
I don't think people truly understand how bad this is going to get, because you have people out there that are now saying, let's take away everybody's rights. You've got guys like Matt Fournier and all of these people saying this is a war. We have to kill the left. They're going to kill us if we don't kill them first. And you need to tell me that there is no truth to this idea that this wasn't planned, that there wasn't I said it yesterday for anybody who hasn't seen the clip, and I'm going to be very clear about this.
I didn't see it because by the time I was taken down, like I only saw clips of crowds running. I didn't see it, and I don't need to see it. I don't.
That's not what I'm talking about.
The clip of him, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm talking about what I was saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, if I'm allowed to speak, he has not only said disturbing things, but it's the people that are now talking about him post-death that are trying to use him as a martyr figure to justify their version of censorship and revenge. And it couldn't be more clear. Like I said, do I think that there's a possibility that Charlie was saying certain things that got him into trouble? Yes, I do. But I also believe that he didn't exactly turn his back on the Zionist movement just yet. Maybe he was going in that direction. Maybe he truly was disturbed as a Christian that the Israelis were blowing up churches in Gaza and obviously the West Bank. That usually a normal Christian, somebody who holds the Holy Land as something very sacred to them, would probably find that very disturbing. I know I do, and I'm not even religious, but I understand the importance that the church provides for people, just like the mosque and the synagogue. It means something to people. It's a sense of pride and connection and a sense of belonging and meaning. And the Israelis completely denigrate that every day. And Charlie Kirk was just starting to change his tune on that. In fact, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Harrison Smith, but he is also somebody who I believe is from InfoWars, who said point blank before the assassination that Charlie Kirk, who apparently was wearing a bulletproof vest at this event yesterday, goes to show you that they knew exactly where to hit him, that he was concerned that Israel wanted to take him out. Why, Jen, would he be concerned that Israel would want to take him out? Well, I have some thoughts, and I'm sure you will too. Yeah. So here we go.
The DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah. Everything. Everything except child sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files. Let the American...
I mean, this was just from a few weeks ago. That is a pretty ballsy statement, to say the least, to use a platform. And as I said, Charlie Kirk has a platform of millions of people. His reach is tremendous. And for anybody who is new here, I talked about this yesterday. I went to one of the Turning Point USA events in Tampa, Florida. It is a big event. It is a really huge event, incredible event. They do a really great job. Yeah. You know what they do? They completely rent out a part of the Tampa Bay Convention Center. Do you know how much money that costs? Do you know how much capital it is required to do things like that? A lot. It takes a lot of money. So he had high friends he had high friends in high places, or powerful friends in high places, however you want to say it. And I'm sure you would agree, Jen. You're only as good, you're only as useful and as good as the last statement you made on behalf of corporate special interests. The second you deviate from it, especially with the genocide going on and the entire world with the backdrop of the UN National Assembly starting in just over a week's time, you're going to change your tune. I mean, it's not a stretch to think that they were going to make an example of somebody with a huge following. People are around asking themselves, could they really do this? And the answer is, yes, they can. And yes, they will. And yes, they probably did. That's my thought. Your thoughts?
Well, I don't think it matters why, to be honest with you. I think that for whatever reason, he was sacrificed. He was sacrificed either to create rage at the left, to further have more militarization and policing in our streets, further take away our civil liberties, and further just essentially create the police state that they're trying to create. And but there's so many different people that would have so many different motives. You know, I even thought for a while today that maybe somebody would do that to just get to Trump because Trump really liked him. But, you know, look, he pissed off a shit ton of people. He pissed off a shit ton of people. And not only did he piss off people that are at the top, but right now you've got veterans who are trained that are just righteously angry. You know, normally you would say, oh, this was definitely done by someone professional. Well, yeah, it was done by somebody professional, but that doesn't mean it isn't a disgruntled vet. That doesn't mean that it was, you know, some master plan either. I don't know. I just know that this was a very hateful person who gave a lot of people a reason to not like him. And I think when you live your life like that, karma bites you in the ass, or in this case, in the neck. And that's, that's so it goes. That's fucking life. Again, I'm more concerned about what's going on in Gaza right now. The fact that we're all being distracted by this is also what I've been saying has been good. I said this weeks ago, that in the next couple of weeks, I said a couple of weeks ago, beware of all the false flags. These are distractions. They're keeping us from looking at what's going on in Gaza. They're keeping us from focusing on the Epstein files. These are distractions. And again, I do not give a fuck one way or the other about another fucking hateful, bigoted, misogynistic piece of shit content creator that got killed versus, again, how many Palestinian children were killed yesterday? I want to say it's like 50 something. And so, yeah, I just fuck him and fuck anybody who cares about this as a distraction over what really matters.
Missy,
that's what I think.
Missy, when you say that Islam is not compatible with Western values, it isn't. He doesn't need to say F all Muslims, Muslims die, in order for it to be hateful rhetoric. There is also something to be said for him, I guess, pontificating in his own way about the way women should live their lives, that women should be chaste, that they should get married young and have kids and be a stay-at-home mother. First of all, I don't know what universe he's living in where he thinks that that's even easy to do these days.
Well, it is. In the crowd of people he hangs out with, it probably is.
But let's just assume for a minute that it was possible. Why is it his job to tell anyone how they should live their lives? He can make suggestions, but this is a person who is a throwback to the type of men who didn't want women to ever have sexual gratification outside of marriage. And even then, that's something that in their mind is not necessarily...
Okay, this is not a serious person, okay? You are not a serious person. To say that somebody isn't hateful when you could find clips of them totally crapping on immigrants, crapping on gays, crapping on blacks, get out of here. He literally got a paycheck from convincing people to kick down and be hateful.
And it's not just that.
Yeah, sorry.
And it's not just that. You also have to remember that this is a guy who everyone is like going around now saying, this isn't the answer. Charlie was such a nice person. Listen, I have no doubt that in a personal interaction, I'm sure Charlie was very nice. But you know what? That doesn't change the fact that his rhetoric was terrible, that there were things that he said were absolutely unacceptable. That doesn't mean there aren't things that he said that were correct. Even if a broken clock is right twice a day, heck, even if it's right 4 or 5 times a day, it doesn't change the fact that with great power comes great responsibility. He is responsible for what he says. When you have that many people that are under your wing, that are hanging on your every word, there is a level of responsibility that comes with that. And there were times where I highly questioned whether he understood it as much. He made a lot of money. He gained a lot of power. He gained a lot of allies, but he also gained a lot of enemies. There were people that were waiting for him to F up, and there are also people that were waiting for an opportunity to use him as a political martyr. Exactly. They found their opportunity. Exactly. And they're going to use it for all they're worth. If you guys are not paying attention to what these scum suckers who are evangelical right lunatics are out there saying right now about what should happen. I mean, listen.
Absolutely, Willie.
As Jen likes to point out.
Sorry. Yeah.
25 years ago, almost 25 years ago, we decided to give up our 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights at the backdrop of the Patriot Act, which they had been trying to push through for years. And then lo and behold, they were able to push it through. And we're going to get to 9/11 shortly. There is no question that Charlie Kirk bit off more than he could chew. And that is why, as soon as I saw it happen, and I connected with one of our good friends who is a very conservative Marine, and he said that was a professional hit, period. No two ways about it.
Again, we know, like, clearly it was done by someone who was very capable.